Good Green Home Show back on the air. This segment, we are going to interview Shawna Coronado.
And I'm sitting right here. How convenient.
Garden extraordinaire.
Oh, my heavens.
Garden writer, blogger, YouTuber, world traveler, speaker, planter.
It's true. I do a lot.
Homeowners Association rile-upper, getting on the news for having a graffitied fence.
It's all those things.
Plants in the not on your property. You're a rebel.
I guess I am a rebel in a way. All right. It all started when I worked for a marketing company, a marketing and sales company, making a lot of money downtown Chicago. And I had this super fast-paced life. And what happened was every day I came home sick. I had year-round bronchitis. And seriously, all my allergies were activated because of the stress that I was under. I would work from dark until dark. There wouldn't be a daylight time that I saw the outside world. And it was horrifying. I really disliked the job and that experience. I had children at home and I wasn't seeing them. It was very upsetting. So one day, my boss called me in and asked me to work more hours. And I said, oh, heck no. And we went our separate ways. On the way home.
Did he just not want you to sleep? Or was this the boss calls me in, you're working dark to dark. Hey, that's not good enough.
Exactly.
We need... Yeah.
And so it just didn't work. So I called my husband on the way home on the train and said, I'm never doing this again, but I don't know what to do.
And this was what, in the early 2000s? When was this?
2006 and 7 was the time frame of it. And I love to garden. And so the local garden community, the friends that I had said, why don't you...
You were already a big gardener established at this point. You
Yeah.
had some crazy stuff going.
I was writing in a local newspaper, a brief garden column. It was something that was just on the side. It was in my spare time, I was writing this little garden column. And somebody said, really, you should be doing landscape design. Well, I don't have a degree in landscape design. And I was concerned, how is that going to work? Well, I jumped in with both feet.
You're from the streets.
I am from the streets.
You learned on the fly. You got the real life experience. It's kind of like me with radio. I don't have any formal radio training, but I've been doing this for 4 years now. And you kind of learn on the job. You learn on the job. I think that I'm okay at this point.
Oh, you're fantastic. And that's it. I learned on the job. I learned how to be a landscape designer. Now, at the beginning of that summer, I had over a dozen prescriptions that I took every day. I was so sick. And by the end of the season, I only took 2 prescriptions a day and I felt like $1 million because I spent every day doing landscape design, working outside, writing, doing the things that I really love. And I kept telling my husband, I am going to write a book about the miracle of feeling better all the time, that being out in nature, having more sunlight, doing the things that I love to do truly makes a difference in my life. And I did eventually write a book. And in 2008, we published it. And it was called, it sounds so naughty, but it's called Gardening Nude. But it wasn't
that's
about...
just a play on words for listeners. Don't get all excited now.
Exactly. It wasn't about naked gardening. It was about living more organically, more healthy, without all of that chemical stuff.
But I'm sure you caught a lot of people's attention because it's a little edgy. I don't care who you talk to. That is very edgy. And I know, knowing you now and getting to know you doing this show, I know that you like to play it safe, and you don't want to be offensive to anybody.
No.
You want to come across as a positive voice, which you are. But Gardening Nude
was edgy.
Is a little edgy.
It was.
Tell
it
us
was
about
edgy.
the decision to
title of that. Okay, so my husband and I are laying in bed one night. It's not naughty, okay? And I say,
here we go.
This is the true story. I'm telling the true story, naughty or not. I said, how do I get a grown person, a man or a woman who's never been green before, to really read this book and think about the amazing things that can happen with their health? He jokingly, and I'm seriously, he was joking, said, well, you better be naked on the front cover.
So your husband is at fault because I could imagine he probably wasn't too excited about this idea, but it was his idea.
No idea what happened.
Jokingly. Okay.
The next day I woke up and I said, that's what I'm going to do. And we joked about it and laughed. And so I went to my girls because I have 2 kids and I wanted to make sure that they approved, because I thought, well, what if something happened that they might receive some negative feedback from their friends? Guess what? All their friends loved it. They loved it. They said, go for it. And of course I was never naked on the front cover. It looks like I might be. It's just a suggestion. It's not really true. Now, there's an important next step. Once I got the book up, I realized, wow, I don't have a way to market the book in a traditional sense because I wasn't making a ton of money as a landscape designer. You know, that's a lower income sort of job when you're first starting out. And so I had to figure out a way to market it. So I started doing social media. I started a blog. Now, the original blog was called The Casual Gardener. And the reason why is my newspaper column at the time was called The Casual Gardener. But eventually, over the years, Chicago Tribune picked me up. I worked with all kinds of different companies. And in the end, I decided the best name is just Shawna Coronado. And so that's my current blog.
So your website now, it's shawnacoronado.com, SHAWNACORONADO.com.
You did it, man. No one spells that right.
You know, I'm a good speller.
But that's my current
I'm a good
blog.
listener. I'm not an interrupter.
I'm a total interrupter. And we're sitting side by side. We're always interrupting each other. But the blog, initially, it was only about green stuff, you know, like how to save energy for your house. And it had nothing to do with gardening. And people kept saying, listen, we love your gardening column. We want you to talk about gardening. So then I had to add in gardening into the circle. Then the next was, well, you're teaching me how to grow a darn kale, but you're not teaching me how to cook it or eat it. And I don't know. So now the whole blog together is really green, sustainable gardening and culinary.
So your evolution with the brand of Shawna Coronado, the author, the speaker, the YouTube video maker, the gardener, a lot of it was controlled or driven by the comments that people made on your YouTube videos and on your social media, your Facebook. Tell us.
Of course, it's so important to me.
You are a social media expert, and you've been called this. I've seen you in other media facets. I've seen I watched your TEDx talk. You did a TEDx talk. Want to talk about that a little bit? What is TEDx and what is TED and what was that all about? First,
let's jump back before we jump into that, because you mention an important point that when people make suggestions, I really listen to it. I have a big fan base, but I don't consider them fans. I consider them friends. And they want to know how to do things. I feel like it's my responsibility to show them how.
So Shawna Coronado, the company, is a democracy. And it's by the people.
And for the people. It really is.
She's not going to listen to all the suggestions, because I've seen some of the comments on there.
If they're naughty,
there's some things that are probably not good, but for the most part, you get some good comments. And you are a social, I think you wanted to back up because you are a social media expert.
Well, it's about being able to, I hate that title, social media expert, because everybody says they are one. Instead, I think I prefer. No,
but you truly are. You've got the stats to back it up.
Well, I think that I'm a friend to the people that are following me, and I want them to be my friend too. And I work really hard to try and connect with as many people as possible. So
you do use a lot of exclamation points when you're typing, and that to me comes across as very friendly.
That's how I talk anyway. I'm always like, out here, you know.
Thank you, exclamation point.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so
May I
appreciative.
please have a salad, exclamation point. But that one should have had a question mark behind it.
TEDx. Now we have to talk. That was the next iteration of this, because I started out, building the social media. I have a YouTube page. I had a blog. I have Facebook. I have all these different things. And somebody said to me, listen, I think your story needs to be told. So I was invited to attend the Denver TEDx, but it was specifically a TEDx for women. And that was really exciting, to promote women and promote women who are successfully trying to do things to change the world. And I really told this story of how I grew a garden and how that garden led to better health for me and better health for my community. So that was why when I was asked to TEDx and speak there, I really wanted to, because I felt it was a contribution to inspiring other people. And so it's part of what I do.
People can find that TEDx speech that you did on YouTube. Where where can they find that?
Actually, you can go to my website, shawnacoronado.com, and it's in the top left corner if you want to listen to it. And I tell the whole story. I have a front lawn vegetable garden, and very controversial. Lots of people are being arrested for their front lawn vegetable gardens across the country. But my city, well, it didn't support right-of-way planting as well as I might like it. They did support the front lawn veggie garden.
The cops are here. They're probably here for the front lawn vegetable garden.
Yeah, it's just for Ma.
Criminal.
It's Mama and her garden. And since the initial growing of the garden, I now donate about 120 to 150 pounds of food every year to my local food pantry.
That's very generous of you.
Well, it's not about generosity. It's about responsibility. If we have all this extra produce,
why let it go to waste?
Yeah,
right?
We should be doing something good with it instead of just letting it go to waste. Now, if I could can everything, I haven't got to the point where I have time to do the preserving and canning, and I know plenty of people that would love to do that, but I only do it for part of the month.
A staff, a Shawna Coronado staff.
It's a lot of vegetables, and this year has been really exciting because I finally decided I'm not going to just grow flat, I'm going to grow up. And so since the original
book
Gardening Nude, since that book's, I now have 3 more books. I have a
Do we have these books we can show? If
Actually,
you're watching online, I think Shawna Coronado, her books are here in studio with us. We are very lucky to have them. What do we have here?
Okay, we have an Illinois Getting Started guide and an Indiana Getting Started guide. Both of these are very, very similar because, frankly, we have the same zones pretty much.
These are some heavy duty books. I mean, this isn't a children's book.
Oh no,
this is some.
Most of the photos, 98% of the photos I took in the book, and so we have about 250 full color photos and descriptions on how to plant, how to grow,
how to install a rain barrel.
Sure, and what plants are better for your
natural
region.
fertilizers and soil amendments.
So those are the first 2 regional books. But then this year, I'm so proud and excited. I have a new book out called Grow a Living Wall. Now, the reason that Grow a Living Wall is so wonderful is it allows you to grow up. And I got this idea when I was standing at an local independent garden center. I was standing at a local independent garden center, and I picked...
What is a local independent garden center? We say that phrase on the show all the time, but...
A garden center that's near your home, that's in your local community, that's not one of those big box stores, that instead has customized
It's a family-owned, not a chain. Maybe they might have a few stores, but not
horticultural
a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange or anything like that.
So I'm standing at a local garden center, and I hold up a 24-inch by 7-inch window box. Mm-hmm. And if you set it on the ground, so that it was set right in front of you, it would be a little over a square foot. Now, it'd be a rectangular square foot, but it would still be a little over a square foot. I'm like, holy cow, what if we planted 5 of these on top of one another? Mm-hmm. Then what you would have is the ability to plant over 30, almost 40 plants in a little over a square foot.
So you took, and I love to use this analogy, Shawna grows parking garage planters, because it's like when you're out of space and you get into the city or you get into some kind of, a hospital area, you need a lot of parking. They go vertical because you run out of space. And Shawna took that same concept to gardening, and you didn't invent the vertical wall. You didn't invent vertical gardening, but you have your own unique twist on it.
Well, my thought is, imagine, no one's ever stood around and said, hey, what if I could grow 40 plants in a square foot? Holy cow.
You did, though.
I did.
And
so I think that, so I didn't invent vertical gardening. Heck no, it's been around for, a long time. But this concept is a little bit different. Again, inside the book are instructions on how to build vertical gardens of all sorts. Either you can make your own or you can get a system. And there's many different systems in here. The goal was to create really beautiful photography so people could see how easy it is to put them together. So again, there's over 250 full color photos. We grow everything from moss gardens all the way to vegetable gardens, to herb gardens, therapeutic gardens, everything.
I know you always mention and refer to your vertical cocktail garden.
Yeah, that's it, baby, because you can sit in your patio, pull off an herb, smush it up in your drink, and shebang, you have a delicious cocktail right there.
I want to know, can you grow a vertical wall garden indoors?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You could grow it indoors if you like, but
Did you talk about that in the book?
I don't, because
so
this
maybe
is
I just gave you an idea for a
the next
follow-up
one.
book.
The issue with indoors for me is that I'm allergic to molds. I don't actually have a lot of houseplants that grow inside my home, only a few. And that's because the soil does cause mold spores to be in the air. And if you're allergic or sensitive to it, it's not such a good idea. So I keep it outside. But the good news about all this is that so I started planting up my fences. And when you plant up your fences, you have more square footage. I have an entire mini farm of vegetables and beautiful plants growing all over my fences, my walls, my gates.
So one of the things I forgot to mention in a way to describe you is I know that you are a spokesperson for some national brands. You are out there on behalf. But one thing I know about working with Shawna Coronado, and it took a long time to get us together for this show. We talked about this back and forth months and months and months before. And when we sat down, you have integrity. When we first had our first kind of official meeting about this show, you were clear. You clearly stated to me, I will not push anything that's not organic or sustainable.
Or somehow good.
You have a line. So you are not a sellout, so to speak. And I know that when you are a spokesperson for different brands, you take that approach. You're not going to promote something that you don't believe in.
I'm a reasonable person. I know not every plant is going to be organic. It's unreasonable at times. But when you're talking about products, definitely. Plants, GMO free. Why would we get anything but a GMO-free plant from our local independent garden center? I just really believe in that. And so for me, I'm far from perfect, but I'm trying really, really hard to get the message across that living morally also means making positive choices about what we use at our home.
So Shawna, what's next for Shawna Coronado, the person, the author, the speaker, the blogger, the videographer,
the
the radio
the crazy
host.
lady?
You have so many things behind your name now that you're just have so much experience. Now, if you ever wanted to get out of the gardening industry, you've got this. So the social media expert, I know you don't like that phrase. By the way, how many Twitter followers do you have? What, 40,000, something like that?
No. On Twitter, I have 17,000 and something, but it's the Google Plus. I have 200, at this minute, I have like 260,000 followers. And I love them. They're so good to me. And we basically, when I go to a page like that, we're sharing information back and forth and we're cheering each other on. So other people are frustrated and disappointed with social media, not me. Well, I love connecting with people. It's fun.
The most popular and most widely used social network is undisputably still at this moment Facebook. Twitter is getting bigger and bigger, but I think that Facebook is so much more mainstream. I have a question for you. As a business, they recommend that you have a page, not a personal page, but a business page. You do it all with your personal Facebook, but there's a limit of how many people you can be friends with, and you're at the limit.
So you're saying
5,000.
Where is this going to lead?
You're kind of maxed out on Facebook. Are you ever going to start a Shawna Coronado page? You're never going to do it. So if you're friends with Shawna, you should count yourself lucky because there's that maximum.
That's not true.
How does that work?
Facebook is an interesting case because, yes, you max out at 5,000 followers, which I've already hit and gone down. I hit again and gone down. But what you can do is get fans. You can go onto somebody's page and instead of friending them, you can follow them. So already I have almost 5,000 friends, but I have many thousands of followers. And so the followers,
I did not know that.
Yeah. So other people, if it's a personal brand, I happen to think, and who recommended that to me? You should go follow him. His name's Scott Monty. He said, you must give it a try. And since I've done that, I had a problem. Those business pages and my personal page kept sounding too similar. This way, it's just one thing. It's a lot simpler.
Well, I know that you're a frequent poster and you get a lot of likes. So that must mean a lot of people like
Please
you.
follow me and we'll get to be friends. I love that part. It's great.
Well, we could probably extend this interview by an hour.
No.
But I wanted to get some of the things out there about you because we haven't really talked about that. And you're a very interesting person. There's not a lot of people like you, and I'm glad that you're doing this show.
Thank you.
You've got some wonderful books here. I hope that people will buy them. They can buy them where?
You can get any of the books at your local bookstore or on Amazon. And the Illinois and Indiana book are almost all sold exclusively in the States.
I'm selling your book on my website.
Yeah, exactly. So you can go to alsipnursery.com.
That's right. Okay.
All right.
Folks.
Thank you for having me and interviewing me. And I love working with you. So this is good.
Well, I appreciate it. Maybe one day you'll interview me and it'll be not as interesting, but it'll be fun. It'll be entertaining. I'll have to tell some jokes. After this break, we're going to talk about how to foster a pet and why that's so important. We'll be right back with the Good Green Home Show with Rich and Shawna.
Have you been disappointed with your lawn, even though you spread fertilizer year after year? If so, then you're not alone. That's because most people are unaware that feeding the lawn is only one of 2 key factors in getting beautiful results. The second is so obvious, but gets overlooked because it's out of sight, out of mind. The soil. Jonathan Green's new American Lawn Plan, unlike traditional fertilizers on the market, feeds both the lawn and the soil. Your soil is filled with nutrients, but many of these nutrients are never absorbed by the grass because your soil biology and chemistry hasn't been activated. This includes nutrients from your lawn fertilizer, too. Jonathan Green's new American Lawn Plan corrects the problem with 2 organic soil-reviving fertilizers: Love Your Lawn, Love Your Soil, and Magical. Spreading Jonathan Green's Love Your Lawn, Love Your Soil feeds your soil biology, activating its microscopic ecosystem. This activated microbial activity breaks down trapped nutrients, so they're completely absorbed by the grass roots. Love Your Lawn, Love Your Soil also creates natural gaps in your soil, allowing air and water to penetrate deeper so roots can grow further. Applying Jonathan Green's Magical feeds your soil chemistry, making it properly balanced. A well-balanced soil enables grass roots to absorb much more lawn fertilizer. This higher absorption rate makes your fertilizer more effective and reduces the risk of waste and runoff while helping keep your lawn and our environment green. Love Your Lawn, Love Your Soil, and Magical are fully compatible with any lawn fertilizer or annual lawn program. We recommend using them with the wide range of Jonathan Green fertilizers designed to feed your lawn with superior results. Feed your lawn and your soil with Jonathan Green's new American Lawn Plan. And finally, get a beautiful lawn you can feel good about.
Alsip Home and Nursery's trained staff of certified horticulturists and organic gardening gurus are the local experts for promoting sustainable, healthy living throughout the community. Our green team can turn even the most inexperienced gardener's thumb green. Alsip Home and Nursery features Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana's largest selection of plants and organic gardening supplies. Look no further than Alsip Home and Nursery's green team.